Hello Legacy Savers, Marsh here. So today we're going to look at quotient property of exponents. What you're going to want to have on you, a notes, writing utensil, and then also a calculator to do some simple adding and subtracting today. So how do we do this problem right now? So if you remember that exponent matchup we did, what we did is we expanded each side, so I would have 6 2's on the top, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the bottom, we would have 3 2's on the bottom. And then we canceled out, right? So 2's, 2's, 2's. So we would have 2 to the third on top. Now, what if we would have like 2 to the 98th over 2 to the 29th? We wouldn't want to write that much. So let's learn the quick hand rule. So, quotient rule of powers. Here's what you're going to want to do. To divide powers with the same base, you're going to subtract the exponents. So, aka you're going to subtract the little numbers. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to place the number on the side of the fraction bar that had the most to begin with. So, if the top would have more x's to begin with, you're going to put x to the whatever you get when you subtract. If you would have, let's say, more on the bottom, you would place x to the whatever number you get on the bottom. Sounds a little confusing, but I'll explain. So then you would subtract your 2. So let's do a couple of examples. So I have 2 to the 6th over 2 to the 2nd. So what we're going to do is subtract. So 2 to the 6 minus 2, which is 2 to the 4th. Right? And that's my final answer. Let's try this one. So I got x to the 4th over x to the 7th. Now notice, if you would subtract as it is, it's not going to work. But let's subtract like we normally would. So big number minus small number. That's x to the 3rd. But now, where is he going to go? Is he going to be on the top of a fraction or the bottom? Well, now notice, this 7th, 7 is on the bottom, right? And he had more than the 4. So this is actually going to go to the bottom of the fraction, okay? So I'd have 1 over x cubed for my final answer. If you think about it in the way with our x's, if I would expand this, I'd have 4 x's and then 7 x's on bottom. Now I'd cancel out, cancel out, cancel out. I'd be left with 3 on the bottom. So that's why we need to think through and say, okay, which one has more? Okay, the bottom. So I'm going to put my final answer on the bottom. Okay. What about this guy? Who has more? Is 3/4 better than 2/4? Yeah, 3/4. So we're going to just keep it on the top. So we're going to have s to the 3/4 minus 1/2. This is 0.75, right? Minus 0.5 if you want to think in decimals. So I'm going to get 0.25 for my final answer, which is 1/4. So I'm going to get s to the 1/4 for my final answer on that one. Your calculator as well could do that problem for you. Let's try a couple extras. So let's do our division here. So I got 7 over 10. So I know ultimately it's going to end up on the bottom, right? So let's put my two numbers there. 10 minus 7, that's 3. So I'm going to have x to the 3rd on the bottom because we had more on the bottom to begin with. Now guys, we haven't done this yet, but notice I have this 2 over this 6. This simplifies down, doesn't it? If I take them both divided by 2. You're going to want to watch for that. Check the numbers at the end of a problem to make sure that the numbers that are on top of each other on the fraction without exponents, make sure that they don't simplify down. So 2 divided by 2 is a 1. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. And I still have that x cubed right there. Alright, so now we have x to the 4th divided by x to the 4th. Well, they're the same, so it doesn't matter how I subtract. So it's going to be 4 minus 4, or x to the 0 power. And we'll talk in our next video what that's finally going to turn into, that x to the 0. Now let's look at this bottom one. Notice, guys, I have something going on in the top. Combine. When you have more than one thing on the top that's both x's or both y's or whatever, make sure you combine them together using our product rule. So this is going to be x to the 7th times x to the 9th. So how many x's do I have on top? I have 16 x's, right? 7 plus 9 over x to the 5th, y to the 2nd. Notice I got these x's that I need to combine or subtract from each other, right? And I have more on top, so ultimately I'm going to place my answer on top. So 16 minus 5 is 9. No, 16 minus 5 is not 9. That is 11. Wow, Marsh. So it'd be x to the 11th over y to the 2nd. And that's the end of this video. See you later, Sabers.